Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is a NAMO playthrough, and for anyone who doesn't know what NAMO is, that's nightmare mode with all of the modifiers on. And so, but this isn't going to be a typical or standard playthrough. The goal for this today really is to just kind of give my thoughts and ideas as I play and go round by round, because I've seen some people struggling out there with NAMO. I've seen people even message me and leave comments and say, hey, like, could you maybe make a guide? And unfortunately, I'm not really much of an editor or anything like that, and I don't really know anybody who could do that for me, but I definitely want to help some people out there who may be struggling, and so I decided that I'm going to do one singular playthrough, no edits, just again giving my thoughts and ideas as I go on. And as you can see, I have Ultra Chaos difficulty. I've already gotten all diamond, and I've soloed every single one of them. I'm not saying that to brag or anything. It's just a matter of obviously authenticating myself, if you will. So the plan is that I'm not going to hit the key totem. I thought about it. I have 109 keys, so I could certainly do it if I wish, but I'm going to try and keep it authentic and not use any, just like if somebody else didn't have the keys available to them to use. And so obviously this is NAMO like we were talking about, so I have to switch it. I have it currently on Ultra Chaos, so we'll go to Nightmare. Again, we have all the modifiers on, right, as you can see. And the reason why I picked the crossbow was just because it just seemed like the easiest weapon to get a win with, and because I'm going to do one long single run, I prefer to give tips while having the best possible chance of actually winning. And then the very last thing before we go in, actually, one thing that is really huge, really important, and I play on controller, but if you play on PC, if you use mouse keyboard, you can just kind of figure it out and apply it to yourself however it would work for you. My controller settings is definitely a huge integral part of my success, being able to do solo NAMO runs with the efficiency that I've been able to do them. And I'm going to go down here and show you guys, but I definitely want to point out a couple things. So you can see aim, fire, grenade, and melee, right? All four of those things are on my bumper and triggers, so all of it's just like right there, ready to go. And I kind of, obviously you're not going to be able to see it, but I have my fingers set up to where my index and my middle, well, my index is on L1 if you're on a PS4 or 5 controller, and then my middle finger is on the left trigger, or L2 if it was PlayStation, and then obviously vice versa for the other way around, same way but with my right fingers. The other thing is that you can see right here is that I slide with L, I press in the left trigger, right, almost like you're like running in Call of Duty or something, sprinting Call of Duty or something, and then I jump with R. I don't jump with X, which like a bunch of games do, and I don't even remember what it was set to initially, but I jump with R, and the reason being, and this is the biggest key, is this jump with R, if you're using a controller, is you can aim and shoot at the same time, right? I can aim here, I can aim up there, I can go aim at this barrel, you know, go and then aim at the crab, you see? And so it's basically claw without having to mess your fingers up by doing the actual claw kind of grip, if you will. So definitely a fan of that. I think it's really helpful and useful in these kind of runs, because I feel like I'll watch people, you know, stop in their tracks and try and shoot something and then they get hit. But this ain't that type of game. You can't really be stopping a lot, you know, or if you're gonna stop, you gotta not have a whole lot of enemies, or you know, you just gotta know what you're doing. But anyways, we're going to get right into it. So pretty much anytime I get on a map, I'm just kind of circling the enemies around, just letting them spawn, get them grouped up kinda, and then I'll start to go to town. And one thing you'll notice right away is that I make heavy use, and I would implore everybody to make, I wouldn't even say heavy use, but just be strategic about your use of this slow-mo when you aim. See how it slows down, slows down? I'm telling you, like, when you need to, when there's like 3 crabs shooting at you at the same time, and you're like, how the fuck am I supposed to dodge this? You can just, and you'd be surprised at how many things you could dodge. So, all right. And so for this, just a lot of sliding, you know, jumping, sliding, moving. And I've kind of just figured out in my own head, like, I'm not going to be able to describe this out loud, but I have my own rhythm to this, as far as just to always get in at like 27 seconds, usually. "28, 27, yeah. That's like pretty typical. Okay, just going along. Out of those, I just felt like the aura was just the best thing, because like when you, if it's like round 1, round 2, you get damage aura, you get poison aura, like it just does the work for you. You see how like low they already are. And again, just moving around, making use of this slow-mo. Always just being aware of my surroundings. You know, like I don't want to get too close if I don't really need to. Okay, so random shot for sure. Like if there's random shot, I would always just personally take that. In this case, I'm probably just going to keep stacking different types of elemental. Might as well go and grab these. And we're just going to move right on. And so something you can probably tell right off the bat is just looking for damage, elemental, and then eventually critical. Just trying to stack that damage. And there are certain things that will take precedent over it. Such as like economy chests, like economy rounds. Definitely, I think crystals is extremely powerful when you can build them up and build them up early. But I feel like, you know, getting those opportunities are kind of far and few between. So it's probably wiser to just stick with damage and then get the other things like economy, like when you can get them, you know. But as you can see, I'm melting, right? It's still early, but melting. And, you know, one thing is like being aware of kind of the enemy's attack patterns. I'm just like very used to it by now, very aware. And so I kind of understand innately just how close or how far I can be. So to some people, it may be like, yo, why are you getting that close? But I just have this understanding where I can be. And I would implore everybody to, you know, if you're not comfortable necessarily with like being around enemies and understanding kind of like the spacing, I would implore you to kind of practice on lower difficulties until you get it. You know, and again, constantly making use of my freeze and my aim, and you see like enemies will shoot at me, and a lot of times, you know, because I can just see it coming, I can just move out of the way. You know, I can see it coming from a mile away. So really not much, or no, I shouldn't say not much, but it's not nearly as big of a threat. Not quite as big of a threat. So obviously you saw there, I have to get flawless, but double economy. So that's going to be the wave, especially because I've been stacking a bunch of damage already. So I'm going to be in pretty good shape after this, no matter what I get out of the chests. Oh yeah, and on top of that, I'm on Island 7, so could possibly get lucky and get a shop as an option, but it wouldn't even matter. Just I'm close enough that I'm more than likely I'm going to be in good shape going into the boss fight. So yeah, for these kind of rounds, and listen, it's just you're going to see it. It's not really something I even need to explain. Just circling the enemies around and just being aware of where they are. And again, because I was able to switch my jump to R, you know, looking around myself and shooting as I'm, you know, jumping away, running away, dashing away, whatever, becomes much easier. Becomes a much easier task. You know? Okay, I did get a shot. Ooh. In this case, I would have to take something that gives me more crystals, like the critical, I think. Damaging enemies or shop. I feel like if we were playing more rounds, I would go for discount, but because I'm going to 60, I'll just take that that boost right now. Okay, so RAM default is always good. Okay, so this is one of those things where I would always get it, but it's not going to really be as effective unless you have shields, because then you're just always at risk of falling under 85. So if you like are able to stack shields, that's when you really start to benefit from that. Snake, I think, is either like 25 or 33%. I could stack it like just for the hell of it, but because I'm on a budget, kind of, I'd rather not. I'd rather go for like 50 plus. Definitely could use a shield, need a shield, so I'll just grab that now. And then, okay, so here's another thing that I like to do. Is that when I get into these moments and I see something like mega crit, I consider selling things to possibly be able to buy it. And yeah, I could purchase it if I sell something. Now, do I want to get rid of that? I don't know the stats on this stuff. I'm gonna it's probably stupid of me, but I'm gonna do that. So now I'm out, but I can go to another shop. And the reason why I like to do this is because some people may think, oh, well, you're missing out on possible like upgrade totem and you're broke, so like what good is that, right? But what's really good is you can get not only chests like these, which would make it worth it, but you could get other totems like loot totems, crystal totems, and if you get really lucky and you hit it like 12 times, you get 12 items, or you get 12 batches of crystals, you turn around and next thing you know, you're balling. So that's why I feel like you should always just go for the shop, even if you're broke. Look at that, doing massive amounts of damage, and again, just utilizing freeze. All these things are coming close to me, but I already know low-key. Well, not completely, but I'm pretty confident that it's not going to hit me. Nothing's going to hit me. I just kind of have figured it out by now. I understand the patterns. Okay, so something I definitely want to point out is on these, I don't see people doing this enough, I feel like, but one thing you definitely want to do on the map, or on maps like these, is you want to abuse these launch pads. Like, it is just such an easy way to get, just to be able to kill enemies and them not really be able to hit you back. They can't do anything. Like, let's just keep it real. With the amount of momentum I have, like, they could try to shoot at me, but look at that. It's pathetic. And even with bosses, same thing. So you'll see that a lot. Like, oh, that was just me being careless. It's my first hit, I think. Wait, is that my first? That might be my first hit this whole run. I'm not even really, paying much attention to that, but I should be. And you guys should be. It's always good to have shields. That's like one of the biggest things, for sure. It's definitely one of the biggest things. Because I know, and I don't know like the complete spiel stats on it all, but I know that the person who develops the game said that he basically made shields worse and made health better, but to me, honestly, shields pretty much feel the same. Like, I don't know. I can't really tell. And so I feel like it's still meta. It's still definitely, I mean, it's always going to be something good. It's always going to be technically meta, but like focusing on it is for sure like something you want to do. And yeah, anytime you have chance totems, any type of crystals, hit it. Especially like it's a little different sometimes if you're on a map. Like, you have to weigh risk reward, and that's something I'll talk about in the moment when it happens. But here for sure, you could just grab the health back, you know. And so you definitely want to just get as many free items, or, you know, just items out of nowhere as you can. So in this case, I'm probably going to get checklists just to be able to stack that damage. Might as well take a shield just for the protection's sake. I know I could do without, and but just for giving good advice, I feel like everybody should take a shield and just kind of protect yourself in that case. I'm more used to it, so I probably wouldn't need it, but it's still good to have. So again, just constant, similar themes, right? Just every time, just circling around and circling them, and it makes it easier too, because I got diamond rank on all the guns in update 5 when you had to go pick up the crystals. Like, you had no choice but to go run and get all of them if you wanted diamond. And I did all of them solo. And now it's so much chiller in that sense, where you can, you know, fall back and play more safe. And I feel like that's why it feels easier for me. Because I got so used to... yeah, maybe I'll just do the damage increase. Okay. So, just gonna, you know, sound like a broken record. Stacking up damage when I can. Stacking up economy when I can. Keeping my distance when I can. You know, I do sometimes just go stupid and just because I'm bored. Like, I'll run in and do stuff. That's just because I'm confident in what I'm doing. But I would not suggest that normally. I would just suggest kind of sitting back and keeping your distance. Oh. Okay. Because if you don't, then stuff like that happens. Okay. I was getting shot from here, so that was a little reckless of me, but it was at the end of the round, so I figured I was good. Again, going around, grabbing these crystals. Oh yeah. I've been slacking a little bit on talking about some of these perks, but something I definitely want to talk about is something like uppercut. It's not quite as effective on a gun like crossbow, because there's only, right now, let's say 7 shots. But let's say I were to increase my my fire rate, it would be better, obviously. And then on guns like the minigun, oh, it's really good. You know, guns like the minigun, I mean, you're going to hit that 5 mark a ton if you just hold on the trigger. So that's something to definitely consider as you play the game, is consider, like, or think about, like, what gun am I using, and how big is the clip? How big is the clip in the gun? Because if I'm using the minigun, like I said, the 5th shot would be really good. Another one that would be really good is the one where the damage increases for every bullet you shoot without reloading, you know, because in the minigun you got 125 bullets, so by the time you get to the last one, you're going to be doing quite some damage. So definitely something to consider. In these moments, I would think about doing double damage, but I wouldn't advise it if there's a shop next to it and you have no shields. It's just not worth it. Like, I would sometimes. I just have the cojones to do it, but really wouldn't do it. Especially if you're still trying to figure it out. So I'll stack some poison just because who knows, I may roll a totem and it'll just break on me. So I might as well buy stuff when I can, even if it's not necessarily the most ideal thing. Ooh, gemstone I love typically. So these are moments where, again, I'll go in and I'll see if there's anything worth selling. 368. So quick math, if I just sell one more blue, I can afford gemstone. So again, yeah, see, I don't really want to get rid of any of this, so I'll probably get rid of the vitality just because I'm not always going to have 85, and I could always get it back later. Plus, trading it out for gemstone, I think that's a pretty solid trade if you ask me. Increase my health. And it's funny because back then in update 5, I would never put my health up, because it was actually, like, bad in a sense, because if you were to hit crystal totems or something that took 33% of your health, the higher it was, the less things you could get. So I would just stack shields and use a lot of totems and stuff. Okay, well, I don't even know why I'm kind of just mindlessly looking in the shop. I can't even afford anything. that I was looking at. But again, we keep going. No totems. I've been having shit totem luck, unfortunately. But other runs I've had incredible totem luck, so it is what it is. You know, just happens. But I'm already pretty good. I've already kind of stacked myself to this point, so even going dry kind of 2 chops in a row doesn't really matter. Plus, I'm pretty proficient at dodging, so. Okay, so actually I'm not doing quite as much as I thought I would, but at the same time I have the elemental going, so all I gotta do is just what I do best. Or what I like to do best is use the slow-mo aim, right? And just be able to see what's coming at me, right? It's one thing if he's shooting at that kind of speed, right? This fast speed. But it's a whole other thing if he shoots at me and I can just see where it's going. It becomes a whole lot easier to deal with. Oh, let me get out of there though. Okay. Alright, and